The silence you're sitting in right now, it's not just silence, is it? It's heavy. It's filled with thoughts you don't even want to think, feelings you don't know how to explain. I don't know exactly what you're going through, but I know it hurts. I know there's something inside your chest that feels tight, like you've been carrying more than you were ever meant to carry. And maybe you've been smiling in front of people, acting like everything is okay, but deep down, you're tired. There are nights you stayed awake longer than you should have, not because you wanted to, but because your mind wouldn't let you rest. Thoughts kept coming, one after another, reminding you of what went wrong, what you lost, what didn't work out. You kept staring at the ceiling, hoping sleep would take you away from it all, but instead, the silence became louder. And in those moments, it felt like no one truly understood what you were feeling. You've been trying to stay strong for so long. You kept telling yourself, it's okay, I'll get through this. But deep inside, you started to feel exhausted. Not just physically, but emotionally. The kind of tiredness that sleep can't fix. The kind that comes from fighting battles no one else can see. And sometimes, you wonder how much longer you can keep going like this. There are moments when everything feels overwhelming. Even the smallest things feel heavy. Things that used to be easy now feel like a burden. And you don't even know how to explain it to anyone, because if you try, it feels like the words just won't come out right. So you stay quiet, you keep it inside, and slowly, that silence begins to weigh on your heart. You've felt alone, even when you're surrounded by people. You've had conversations where you smiled and nodded, but inside, you felt completely disconnected. Like no one could really see what's going on inside you. Like no one would truly understand even if you tried to explain it. And that loneliness, it's one of the hardest feelings to carry. Maybe there were moments where you felt like giving up. Not necessarily ending everything, but just giving up on trying so hard. Giving up on hoping things will get better. Because every time you try to hold on, something pulls you back down again. And it makes you question everything, your strength, your purpose, even your worth. And the hardest part is, you've been going through all of this quietly. You didn't make a scene. You didn't ask for attention. You just kept it inside and carried it on your own. You showed up every day, even when you didn't feel like it. You kept moving, even when your heart felt heavy. And no one really saw how much it cost you to keep going. But right now, in this moment, I want you to pause. Just for a few seconds. You don't have to figure everything out. You don't have to fix everything tonight. You don't have to carry all of it at once. Just breathe. Just stay here. Because before you give up, before you decide that it's too much, just stay with me for a few minutes. There's something your heart needs to hear. What you're feeling right now, it's not strange, and it's not something that makes you weak. This life was never meant to be easy all the time. Struggle is part of the journey, even for the strongest people you can think of. The ones you admire, the ones who seem unbreakable, they've had moments where they felt like they couldn't go on anymore. They've had nights where everything felt too heavy. So if you're feeling that right now, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It means you're human. Sometimes the heart just gets tired. Not weak, just tired. There's a difference. A weak heart gives up because it doesn't care anymore. But a tired heart, it's been caring too much for too long. It's been holding pain, struggles, carrying emotions that were never meant to stay this long. And eventually, it reaches a point where it just needs rest. What you're feeling is not weakness, it's the weight of everything you've been carrying. You might be telling yourself, why am I feeling like this? I should be stronger, but strength doesn't mean you never break. Strength doesn't mean you never cry, or never feel overwhelmed. Real strength is continuing even when your heart feels like it's falling apart. Real strength is still being here, still breathing, still trying, even when it's hard. And the fact that you're still here, listening to this, that says more about your strength than you realize. There are people who look perfectly fine on the outside, but inside, they're fighting battles you would never imagine. And just like them, you've been fighting your own battles quietly. You didn't always show it. You didn't always talk about it. But that doesn't make your pain any less real. Just because it's invisible to others doesn't mean it's not heavy. Feeling like giving up, it doesn't make you a failure. It doesn't erase everything you've been through, everything you've survived until this moment. It doesn't cancel your worth. It simply means you've reached a point where you're overwhelmed. And that's something many people go through, even if they don't talk about it. You're not alone in this feeling, even if it feels like you are. There's a moment in every person's life where they feel like they've reached their limit. Where they question if they can keep going. And sometimes, that moment comes again and again. But those moments don't define you. They don't decide your future. They're just part of the journey, a difficult part, yes, but still just a part. And even in this pain, even in this confusion, even in this quiet struggle you're facing, there is something you need to remember. You are not forgotten. You are not unseen. Every tear, every thought, every moment you felt like breaking, it has been known. Because what you're feeling right now, Allah already knows. And the moment you truly understand that, something begins to shift inside you. Not because your problems suddenly disappear, but because you realize that your pain has never been invisible. Allah knew about it before you even found the words to describe it. Before you cried that first tear, before your chest felt heavy, before the nights became sleepless. He already knew, and not just knew in a distant way, but knew with a closeness that is beyond anything we can imagine. Allah says that He is closer to you than your jugular vein. Closer than your own breath. That means in your lowest moment, when you felt completely alone, you were never truly alone. When your thoughts were too heavy to share with anyone, when your voice felt too weak to speak. Allah was already aware of every word you couldn't say, every emotion you buried deep inside. He already understood it completely. Think about the story of Prophet Ayyub, a man who lost his health, his wealth, and even his loved ones. Years of pain, years of suffering, and yet, he didn't complain about Allah, he spoke to Allah. There's a difference, he said, indeed, hardship has touched me, and you are the most merciful of the merciful. He didn't deny his pain. He didn't pretend to be okay. He acknowledged his suffering, but he turned to Allah with it. And maybe that's what your heart needs right now. Not to hide the pain, not to pretend that everything is fine, but to bring it to Allah exactly as it is. You don't need perfect words. You don't need a perfect state. Even a broken dua is still heard. Even a whisper, even a tear, reaches Him. Because Allah is not waiting for you to be perfect. He is waiting for you to turn back to Him. There was also the moment of Prophet Yunus, trapped in the darkness of the whale, surrounded by layers of darkness, the night, the ocean, and the belly of the whale. If anyone ever had a reason to feel completely trapped, it was him. And yet, in that darkness, he called out, "There is no God but you, glory be to you, indeed, I was among the wrongdoers." A simple dua, but it came from a heart that turned fully back to Allah. And Allah responded, "Your situation might not look like theirs, but the feeling, the heaviness, the sense of being trapped, it's something the human heart has always known." And just like Allah responded to them, Allah responds to you, not always in the way you expect, not always in the timing you want, but always in the way that is best for your soul. Sometimes the delay itself is mercy. Sometimes the pain itself is guiding you somewhere deeper, closer, more sincere. Because when everything else is taken away, when every distraction fades, the heart finally turns to the one it truly needs. And maybe, just maybe, this moment you're in right now is not the end of you, but the beginning of your return. So don't think your tears are wasted. Don't think your struggle is meaningless. Every second of it is seen. Every moment is recorded, and there is a wisdom behind it, even if you don't understand it yet. The same Allah who allowed you to feel this is the one who can heal you from it. And maybe right now, your heart is slowly realizing something it didn't fully see before, that even in the middle of your pain, you are still being cared for, still being guided, still being held by Allah. And maybe right now, your heart is standing at a crossroads. Not a visible one, but something deep inside you is shifting. A quiet question is forming within you, where do I go from here? Because you've felt the pain, you've carried it for so long, and now you're realizing that continuing the same way won't heal you. Something has to change, not everything at once, but something small, something real. Healing doesn't begin when everything is fixed. It begins when you turn, even slightly, in the right direction. It begins in the moment you decide that you won't run away from Allah anymore, even if you feel broken, even if you feel distant. You don't need to suddenly become perfect. You just need to take one sincere step back. And sometimes, that step is as simple as raising your hands and saying, "Ya Allah, I don't even know what to say, but please help me." You might feel like your connection with Allah is weak right now. Like your heart doesn't feel what it used to feel. Like your prayers are empty, your duas feel distant. But even that feeling is a sign of something alive inside you. Because a completely dead heart wouldn't care. The fact that you feel this emptiness, this longing, means your heart is still searching. It's still calling out, even if it feels lost. Start small. Don't overwhelm yourself with big expectations. Go back to the basics, gently. Pray one salah with full presence, even if the rest feel difficult. Sit for a few minutes and speak to Allah honestly, not with memorized words, but with what's actually inside you. Tell Him what's hurting. Tell Him what you're afraid of. Tell Him what you've been hiding. Because Allah already knows, but He loves when you turn to Him with it. And slowly, bring the Quran back into your life. Not as something you rush through, but as something you sit with. Even if it's just one ayah. Read it, reflect on it, let it speak to your heart. Because the Quran was not sent only for guidance, it was sent as healing. A healing that reaches places inside you that nothing else can touch. Protect your heart from what keeps breaking it. Sometimes, part of healing is letting go of what constantly reopens the wound. It could be certain habits, certain environments, things that pull you away from peace without you realizing it. Choosing distance from them isn't weakness, it's for your heart. And your heart deserves that care. And be patient with yourself. Healing is not a straight path. There will be days you feel better, and days you feel like you're back at the beginning. That doesn't mean you failed. That doesn't mean nothing is changing. It just means you're human. What matters is that you keep returning, again and again, no matter how many times you fall. Fill your moments, even the small ones, with remembrance. Quietly saying, Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar, even when your heart feels heavy. These are not just words, they are light. Light that slowly enters the heart, even if you don't feel it immediately. And over time, that light begins to soften what once felt hard and unbreakable. And as you take these small steps, something beautiful begins to happen. Not instantly, not loudly, but quietly. Your chest feels a little lighter. Your thoughts feel a little calmer. The pain is still there, but it doesn't control you the same way anymore. Because you're no longer carrying it alone. So don't rush this process. Don't pressure yourself to be okay overnight. Just keep turning back, keep taking small steps, keep holding on, even if it's weak. Because the one you're turning to is the one who can heal you completely. And every step you take toward him, no matter how small, is never wasted. There is something many people struggle to understand when they are hurting. They think their mistakes have made them too far from Allah. They think because they have fallen many times, because they have made choices they regret, because they have walked away and returned again and again, that maybe Allah no longer wants them. But this is one of the biggest lies that can enter the heart. Allah's mercy is not limited by your mistakes. Your sins may be great, but Allah's mercy is greater. Sometimes, when a person is suffering, Shaitan tries to turn that pain into hopelessness. He whispers, "You are not worthy." He reminds you of every mistake you have made. He makes you focus only on your past until you forget the one who can forgive your past. But Allah does not look at you only through your worst moments. Allah sees your struggle. Allah sees every time you tried to come back. Allah sees the tears you cried when nobody else knew. Look at the powerful story mentioned in the teachings of the Prophet about the man who had killed 100 people. Imagine that, 100 lives taken. A person who could have believed that there was no way back for him. A person who could have thought, I have gone too far. Allah will never forgive someone like me. But when he sincerely searched for repentance, Allah opened a door for him. His past was terrible, but Allah's mercy was greater. The lesson is not that sins are small. The lesson is that Allah's mercy is beyond what we can imagine. Never underestimate the forgiveness of Allah. A person can spend years walking away from him, and with one sincere moment of returning, Allah can change their entire story. The same heart that was lost can become a heart filled with faith. The same person who was drowning in darkness can become someone who brings light to others. Maybe you are carrying a mistake from your past that you still punish yourself for every day. Maybe you replay moments in your mind and say, I should have done better. Maybe you wish you could go back and change things. But remember, you are not living with the same understanding you have today. The pain you feel about your mistakes can become the reason you return closer to Allah. Allah tells us in the Quran not to despair of His mercy. Think about the beauty of that message. Allah did not say, only the perfect people should return. He did not say, only those who never made mistakes should ask for forgiveness. His invitation is for those who have struggled, those who have fallen, those who feel broken, and those who are searching for a way back. Your past is a chapter, not the entire book. The mistakes you made are part of your story, but they do not have the power to decide your ending. Allah can replace regret with growth. Allah can replace sadness with wisdom. Allah can take the broken pieces of your heart and create something more beautiful than what was there before. Think about Prophet Adam. After making a mistake, he turned back to Allah with humility and repentance. He did not run away from Allah forever. He returned, and that return is what made his story a lesson for humanity. The difference between someone who is lost and someone who is guided is not that one never falls, it is that one keeps returning to Allah. So if you are sitting there feeling like you are too far away, hear this carefully. You are not too far. The door of Allah's mercy is still open. Your tears matter, your repentance matters, your effort matters. The fact that your heart still wants peace, the fact that you are still searching, is a sign that Allah is calling you back. Maybe this pain you are experiencing is not a punishment pushing you away, maybe it is a reminder pulling you closer. Maybe Allah is using this difficult moment to wake your heart, to remove what was distracting you, and to bring you back to the place where your soul finds true peace. Because no matter how heavy your past feels, Allah's mercy is heavier. No matter how deep your wounds are, Allah's healing is deeper, and no matter how lost you feel today, Allah is still able to guide you home. There is a moment in every person's life where the pain becomes so loud that it starts changing the way they see everything. A difficult situation can make you believe that nothing will ever get better. A disappointment can make you think that your future is already decided. A mistake can make you believe that you are beyond forgiveness. And slowly, the heart begins to accept a dangerous thought, maybe there is no hope for me anymore. But this is where we need to understand something important. Giving up is not just about walking away from a situation. The greatest danger of giving up is when a person loses hope in Allah's mercy. When someone starts believing that their problems are bigger than Allah's power, that their sins are bigger than Allah's forgiveness, that their pain is greater than Allah's ability to heal. And this is exactly what Shaitan wants. Shaitan does not always try to make you leave Islam in one moment. Sometimes, he works slowly. He fills your heart with hopelessness. He makes you focus only on your failures and forget Allah's mercy. He reminds you of every time you fell but hides from you every time Allah gave you another chance to stand again. Shaitan wants you to believe that you are alone. He wants you to believe that nobody understands you, that nobody cares about you, that your situation will never change. He wants you to look at your past and think it is impossible to have a better future. But remember, Shaitan is a liar. His greatest weapon is making you forget who Allah is. Allah is not like people. People may give up on you. People may judge you by your mistakes. People may only see your failures. But Allah sees your entire journey. He sees the battles you fought silently. He sees the moments you wanted to do better. He sees the tears you wiped away when nobody was watching. Giving up may feel like relief for a moment because you stop fighting. But it does not remove the pain. It only allows the pain to grow deeper. When a person loses hope, they lose the strength to take even the smallest steps toward healing. They stop making dua. They stop seeking help. They stop believing that tomorrow can be different. But your story is not over yet. Read that again in your heart. Your story is not over yet. The chapter you are living right now may be painful, but it is not the final chapter. Allah has written possibilities you cannot see. The door you think is closed may open in a way you never expected. The situation you think will destroy you may become the reason you become stronger and closer to Allah. Think about the prophets. Their lives were not free from hardship. Prophet Yusuf was thrown into a well by his own brothers. He was separated from his family. He was imprisoned despite being innocent. If someone looked at his life during those difficult moments, they might have thought everything was finished. But Allah was preparing something beyond what anyone could imagine. The well was not the end of Yusuf's story. The prison was not the end of Yusuf's story. The pain was not the end of Yusuf's story. And your pain is not the end of your story either. Maybe today you cannot see the wisdom behind what you are facing. Maybe you cannot understand why Allah allowed certain things to happen. But not understanding the plan does not mean there is no plan. A child may not understand why a parent says no to something, but the parent sees what the child cannot see. And Allah's wisdom is far greater than anything we can imagine. So before you make a decision based on a moment of intense pain, remember this: don't make a permanent decision in a temporary moment. A moment of sadness can pass. A moment of anger can pass. A moment of exhaustion can pass. But the consequences of giving up can remain. Hold on a little longer. Make one more dua. Pray one more prayer. Take one more step. Even if your faith feels weak, hold on to Allah with whatever strength you have left. Because Allah does not ask you to carry the entire future today. He only asks you to trust Him one step at a time. The storm you are in right now is not proof that Allah has abandoned you. Sometimes the darkest nights come before the brightest mornings. Sometimes the heart that has been broken the most becomes the heart that knows Allah the deepest. So don't give up. Not today. Not when Allah's mercy is still reaching you. Not when your story is still being written. There is something your heart needs to remember today, something that can change the way you look at your pain. Your pain may feel enormous. Your struggles may feel impossible to carry. Your heart may feel like it has been broken into pieces that can never be put back together. But there is something greater than your pain. Something stronger than your sadness. Something bigger than every mistake, every regret, and every difficult moment you have faced. It is the mercy of Allah. Sometimes we measure everything according to our own weakness. We look at our problems and think, this is too big for me. We look at our mistakes and think, this is too much to forgive. We look at our wounds and think, I will never heal from this. But we forget that we are looking through the limits of a human heart, while Allah's mercy has no limits. Your pain has a size. Your problems have a size. Your fears have a size. But Allah's mercy is beyond measurement. What feels impossible to you is easy for Allah. What feels like the end to you can become the beginning of something beautiful through Allah's plan. The same Allah who created your heart knows exactly how to heal it. Maybe you are carrying a pain that nobody knows about. Maybe there is a sadness you hide from everyone around you. Maybe you have forgiven others, but you still struggle to forgive yourself. You keep remembering what happened, what you lost, what you did wrong, and you wonder if you will ever feel peace again. But listen carefully. Allah is not waiting for you to become perfect before He shows you mercy. Allah's mercy is the reason imperfect people can return. It is the reason broken hearts can be repaired. It is the reason a person who has fallen many times can still stand again. Look at the beauty of repentance in Islam. When a person sincerely turns back to Allah, Allah does not just erase their mistakes. Allah can transform their past into something that brings them closer to Him. The tears of regret can become a source of purification. The pain of realizing your mistakes can become the beginning of a new life. Allah loves when His servants return to Him. Imagine that the Creator of the heavens and the earth is not pushing you away because you struggled. He is inviting you back. Every time you say, Ya Allah, forgive me, you are not bothering Him. You are answering an invitation of mercy. You may feel lost, but Allah knows exactly where you are. You may not understand your situation, but Allah knows every detail. You may not know how you will overcome this, but Allah already knows the path ahead. You may feel like you are wandering in darkness, but Allah knows every step you are taking and every tear you are hiding. Sometimes Allah allows a person to experience brokenness because He wants to remove what was harming their heart. Sometimes losing something in this world brings you closer to the one who created everything. Sometimes a door closes because Allah is protecting you from a path that would have hurt you even more. The darkness you are feeling right now is not permanent. The night always moves toward morning. The hardest moments of your life do not have the power to erase Allah's kindness toward you. Even when you cannot see a way forward, Allah is preparing ways you cannot imagine. Think about how many times you thought you would never survive something, but you did. Think about the moments you thought you could not handle, yet Allah gave you strength you didn't know you had. Every difficult chapter you survived is evidence that Allah has carried you before, and He can carry you again. So don't define yourself by your worst day. Don't define yourself by your biggest mistake. Don't define yourself by the pain you are currently experiencing. Define yourself by the fact that Allah's mercy is still reaching you. A new beginning can start from this very moment. A heart that feels broken today can become a heart filled with peace tomorrow. A person who feels far from Allah today can become closer than ever before. Because your pain has a limit, but Allah's mercy does not. And when Allah's mercy reaches a heart, even the deepest wounds can begin to heal. Sometimes pain can become so overwhelming that it makes a person forget something very important. They forget their own value. They begin to look at their struggles and think, maybe my life doesn't matter. They look at what they have lost, what they have failed at, and what they could not achieve, and they start believing that their story has no meaning. But your life was never random. You are not here by accident. You are not just a collection of painful moments, disappointments, and mistakes. Before anyone knew your name, before anyone understood your struggles, Allah knew you. He created you with wisdom. He gave you a heart that feels, a mind that thinks, and a soul that searches for Him. Every person has a purpose written into their existence. Sometimes that purpose is not immediately visible. Sometimes it is hidden behind difficulties. Sometimes Allah allows you to walk through hardship because He is preparing you for something greater than what you can currently see. Think about a seed buried deep inside the ground. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. It is hidden in darkness. It is surrounded by pressure. But underneath the darkness, something is growing. Something is preparing to rise. And sometimes your life feels like that seed. You may feel buried by problems, but Allah may be preparing growth inside you that you cannot see yet. Never believe that your existence does not matter. Your presence has touched people in ways you may never realize. A kind word you said. A moment when you helped someone. A smile you gave when you were struggling yourself. A dua you made for someone else. You may have forgotten those moments, but Allah has not. There may be someone whose life became easier because you were there. There may be someone who found hope because of something you said. There may be someone who silently thanks Allah for bringing you into their life. You may not see your impact, but that does not mean it does not exist. And maybe you are waiting for your own happiness to return. Maybe you look back and think, those were the best days of my life. I don't think I will ever feel that way again. But remember, Allah is not limited to the happiness you have already experienced. The one who gave you beautiful moments before can give you moments even more beautiful in the future. You haven't seen the best days of your life yet. There are smiles you haven't smiled yet. There are peaceful mornings you haven't experienced yet. There are people you haven't met yet who may bring goodness into your life. There are opportunities, blessings, and moments of gratitude that Allah has not revealed to you yet. Do not let today's pain convince you that tomorrow has nothing waiting for you. A difficult season can make the future look empty, but feelings are not always reality. Just because you cannot see the light yet does not mean the light is not coming. Remember Prophet Musa standing before the sea with danger behind him and no visible path ahead. To the people with him, it looked impossible. They thought they were trapped. But Allah created a way where there seemed to be no way. And maybe that is what Allah is teaching you through your own journey. The absence of a visible solution does not mean there is no solution. The fact that you cannot see the door does not mean Allah cannot open it. Your life has meaning beyond your current struggle. You are more than your sadness. You are more than your failures. You are more than the things that happened to you. Allah created you because your existence has value. So keep moving forward, even slowly. Keep making dua, even through tears. Keep believing, even when your heart feels tired. Because the same Allah who brought you this far can take you further than you ever imagined. Your story is still being written, and the pages ahead may hold blessings, peace, and happiness that you cannot even imagine today. There comes a moment in every person's journey when they realize something important, that the healing they have been searching for is not always found by running away from their pain. Sometimes healing begins when they finally turn back to the one who created their heart. The one who knows every wound, every fear, every hidden struggle, and every tear that was never seen by anyone else. Maybe you have been searching for peace in many places. Maybe you tried to distract yourself, tried to stay busy, tried to forget what hurt you. Maybe you looked for comfort in people, possessions, achievements, or temporary things. But deep inside, there was still something missing. Because the heart has a place that only Allah can fill. Returning to Allah does not mean you have to become perfect overnight. It does not mean you suddenly have no weaknesses, no struggles, and no mistakes. Returning to Allah simply means taking one step back toward Him. One sincere step, one moment where you say, Ya Allah, I need you. And that one step can change the direction of your entire life. Sometimes people think they have to fix themselves completely before they can come back to Allah. They think, when I become better, I will pray. When I stop making mistakes, I will make dua. When my heart becomes pure, I will return. But that is not how Allah's mercy works. You do not return because you are already healed, you return because Allah is the one who heals you. Even the smallest step matters. A single sincere dua matters. A single prayer after a long time matters. A single moment of remembering Allah while your heart is heavy matters. A single tear that falls because you miss being close to Him matters. Allah does not ignore small acts done with a sincere heart. Never think that your effort is too small for Allah to notice. Humans may overlook small things, but Allah sees everything. He sees the struggle behind your effort. He sees when you fight against your own weakness. He sees when you choose Him even while your heart is still hurting. Think about the beauty of Allah's forgiveness. When a servant turns back sincerely, Allah does not respond with rejection. Allah does not say, you came too late. Allah does not say, you have made too many mistakes. Instead, Allah opens the door of mercy and welcomes the person who returns. Imagine someone who has been lost for years and finally finds the way home. The happiness of returning is beyond words. And Allah's mercy toward His servant is even greater than that. The one who created you is not waiting to punish you for returning. He is inviting you to return. So let go of the guilt that keeps you trapped. There is a difference between regret that brings you closer to Allah and guilt that makes you believe you are hopeless. Regret is a blessing because it reminds your heart to return. But hopelessness is a trap because it makes you believe the door is closed when it is still open. Your past happened. Your mistakes happened. The moments you wish you could change have already passed. But Allah has given you something powerful, this moment. Right now, this breath, this opportunity, this chance to begin again. Do not let your past become a prison that prevents you from building your future with Allah. The person you were yesterday does not have to control the person you become tomorrow. Allah can transform hearts. Allah can change lives. Allah can replace darkness with light. Maybe you think you have been away from Allah for too long. Maybe you think your heart has become too hard. Maybe you think you have crossed a line that cannot be crossed back. But listen carefully, it's not too late. It's never too late. As long as you are alive, the door of returning is open. As long as your heart can still call upon Allah, there is still hope. As long as you can say, Ya Allah, you have a connection with the one who never stopped caring for you. Take that step today, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Take the step while you are still struggling. Come to Allah with your broken heart, with your weaknesses, with your fears. Because Allah does not need you to arrive perfect. He only wants you to return. And the moment you turn back to Him, you will discover that He was never far away. One of the biggest reasons our hearts become overwhelmed is because we forget the true nature of this life. We start expecting this world to give us a kind of peace that it was never designed to provide. We expect every problem to disappear, every person to understand us, every dream to happen exactly the way we planned. But Allah never promised us a life without difficulty. Allah created this world as a place of testing, growth, patience, and preparation. This dunya was never meant to be perfect. If this world was meant to be complete, there would be no reason for Jannah. If this life was meant to have no sadness, there would be no need for the eternal happiness Allah has prepared for the believers. The struggles we face here are not signs that Allah has forgotten us. Sometimes they are reminders that this world is temporary and that our hearts were created to search for something greater. Look around you, everything in this world changes. The happiness of yesterday becomes a memory. The difficulties of today eventually become a chapter in the past. People come into our lives and sometimes leave. Situations change. Time moves forward. Nothing in this dunya stays forever. And that includes your pain. The sadness you feel today will not last forever. The hardship you are facing right now will not remain in the same way forever. The tears you cry today are known by Allah, and there will come a day when those tears are replaced with joy that never ends. Sometimes we become so focused on what we lost in this world that we forget what Allah has promised us in the next. We become attached to temporary things and forget the eternal reward waiting for those who remain patient. We look at a few difficult years here and forget the endless mercy and happiness Allah can give in the hereafter. Imagine someone traveling through a difficult road for a short time, knowing that at the end of that journey is a place beyond imagination. Would they focus only on the hardship of the road? Or would they keep going because they know what awaits them? That is the believer's journey. This life is the road. The hereafter is the destination. Every moment of patience matters. Every time you held yourself back from giving up matters. Every tear you cried while trusting Allah matters. Every prayer you made while your heart was broken matters. Nothing is wasted with Allah. Sometimes people see your struggles and think you are losing. They may not understand why you are still hopeful. They may not understand why you continue to trust Allah despite everything you have faced. But they do not see what Allah sees. They do not know the reward that is being prepared for those who remain patient. Allah tells us that those who are patient will receive their reward without measure. Think about that. A reward without limit. A reward that cannot be compared to anything we experience in this temporary world. So when life becomes heavy, remind your heart, this is not forever. This pain is not your final chapter. This hardship is not your final destination. You are passing through something, not staying in it forever. Maybe right now you are standing in the middle of a difficult season, and you cannot understand why Allah allowed it. But one day, with the permission of Allah, you may look back and realize that the moments you thought were breaking you were actually building you. The moments you thought were taking everything from you were bringing you closer to the one who gives everything. Do not let temporary pain make you forget eternal promises. Do not let a difficult moment make you doubt a beautiful future. The world may take things from you, but Allah can replace them with something far better. There is a place where there is no sadness, no fear, no disappointment, no loneliness, no broken hearts. A place where every struggle you endured will finally make sense. Jannah, and every step you take toward Allah today is a step toward that eternal peace. So hold on, be patient, keep trusting. The chapter you are living right now may be painful, but remember, this dunya is temporary, your pain is temporary, but Allah's mercy and the reward He has prepared for you are eternal. Right now, I want you to slow down for a moment. Forget everything happening around you. Forget the noise, the worries, the things you cannot control. Just sit with these words for a few moments and allow them to reach your heart. Look back for a second, look back at all the moments you thought you would never survive. The nights when you felt completely broken. The days when you had no idea how you would keep moving forward. The moments when your heart was exhausted, when your mind was overwhelmed, when you wondered if you had any strength left. But look at you now. You are still here. You survived every single one of those moments. You have survived 100% of your worst days. Think about that carefully. Every difficult day that came before this moment, you made it through. Every storm you thought would destroy you, eventually passed. Every situation you thought you could not handle, Allah gave you the strength to overcome it. Maybe you didn't overcome it perfectly. Maybe you cried. Maybe you struggled. Maybe you felt weak. But you continued. And sometimes continuing while you are hurting is one of the greatest forms of strength. You are stronger than you think. Sometimes we only notice our weaknesses. We remember our failures more than our victories. We remember the moments we fell, but we forget how many times we stood back up. We remember the doors that closed, but we forget the doors Allah opened. Your strength is not measured by how little you struggle. Your strength is shown by how many times you return after struggling. It is shown by the fact that even with a tired heart, you are still searching for hope. Even with pain inside you, you are still listening. Even with questions in your mind, you are still turning toward Allah. But remember something important. Your strength does not come only from yourself. The reason you survived those moments was not because you were alone carrying everything. Allah was with you. Allah was giving you strength when you thought you had none left. Allah was protecting you from things you never saw. Allah was guiding you through moments where you could not see the path ahead. Sometimes Allah gives you strength before He removes the difficulty. Sometimes the miracle is not that the problem disappears immediately. Sometimes the miracle is that Allah gives your heart the ability to continue. Think about the times you said, I can't do this anymore, but somehow you did. Think about the moments you felt completely empty, but Allah placed patience inside your heart. Think about the days when you thought you had reached your limit, but Allah carried you beyond it. That was not just your strength. That was Allah's help. So stop being so harsh on yourself. Stop looking at yourself only through your mistakes and struggles. Allah does not see you only through your weakest moments. He sees your effort. He sees your patience. He sees every battle you fought silently. Speak kindly to your own heart. Tell yourself, I am still trying. I am still growing. Allah is still guiding me. You do not need to have everything figured out today. You do not need to know every answer. You only need to keep walking toward Allah, one step at a time. The same Allah who brought you through yesterday's difficulties is the Allah who will help you face tomorrow's challenges. So when your heart feels tired, remember how far you have come. When you feel weak, remember who is supporting you. When you feel afraid of the future, remember who controls the future. You are not standing alone. Allah is with you, and with Allah's help, you are stronger than every difficulty that tries to break you. Before we end this reminder, I want you to take one final moment and listen with your heart, not just your ears. Maybe this video found you because you needed it. Maybe Allah brought these words to you at a moment when your heart was tired. Maybe you were silently carrying something that nobody knew about. Maybe you were questioning your strength, your future, or your ability to keep going. But remember, you are not here by accident. Allah knows exactly what your heart needs. The same Allah who guided you to hear these words is the one who knows every hidden pain inside you. He knows the tears you wiped away. He knows the prayers you whispered when nobody else was listening. He knows the moments when you felt like you had no strength left. And today, I want you to remember one thing. Don't give up, not now. Not after everything you have survived. Not after all the battles you have already overcome. Not after Allah has carried you through every difficult moment until this point. Your story is not finished. The chapter you are living right now may be painful, but it is not the end. Allah is still writing your story. There are pages ahead that you have not seen yet. There are blessings waiting that you cannot imagine. There are moments of peace, happiness, and gratitude that Allah can bring into your life in ways you never expected. Never think that because you are struggling today, you will always struggle. Never think that because your heart is hurting today, it will never feel peace again. Allah changes situations. Allah heals hearts. Allah opens doors that you thought would never open. Remember Prophet Yaqub. He experienced a pain that lasted for years because of the loss of his son Yusuf. His heart was deeply hurt, but he never lost hope in Allah. Even through his sadness, he continued to trust Allah's wisdom. And that is the lesson for us. You can feel pain and still have faith. You can cry and still trust Allah. You can feel tired and still keep walking toward Him. Because faith does not mean you never struggle. Faith means you know who to return to when you struggle. So wherever you are right now, whatever you are facing, place your heart in Allah's care. Let us make dua together. Ya Allah, ease every heart watching this. Ya Allah, remove the sadness they carry silently. Ya Allah, heal the wounds that nobody else can see. Ya Allah, replace their pain with peace, their fear with comfort, and their worries with trust in you. Ya Allah, forgive our mistakes and bring us closer to you. Ya Allah, when we feel weak, give us strength. When we feel lost, guide us. When we feel alone, remind us that you are always near. Ya Allah, bless every person listening to this reminder. Open doors of goodness for them. Put peace in their hearts. Put light in their lives. And grant them a beautiful ending in this world and the next. Ameen. If this reminder touched your heart, don't keep it only for yourself. Share it with someone who may need these words today. Your small action may become a reason someone finds hope again. If this message benefited you, support this channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing for more reminders that bring hearts closer to Allah. And always remember, no matter how difficult the road becomes, no matter how heavy your heart feels, no matter how far you think you have gone, Allah is always near.